Hello and welcome to this week's episode of Happily Ever Caffeinated, the weekly wedding video series where we get stupid high on coffee and talk about weddings. I am your host, Pavel Stehlik, co-founder of Photo Bohemia, and I'm here today with Jennifer from Oh Hello Events. And events. And we are going to be talking about how to interview a vendor. Let's do this. So many times, brides get lists of questions, like from the Knot. I have brides with their must-ask questions for photographers that they'll email me the whole list. They don't know where to start. So how do they start? Like where do you go when you're interviewing a bunch of vendors?
Sure.
What's the best way to do it?
Well, I mean, for most couples, it's an interesting time in their life because they're booking vendors and working with businesses that they've never really worked with before. They don't have much experience in.
Yeah.
It's not like shopping for a car or for a regular, normal, like consumer good.
Right.
So
you don't get a bouquet of flowers every Wednesday.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, there's no subscription box for your vendors. So I could see where it's challenging, and they might go to places like the Knot or Wedding Wire and just grab a list of questions.
Yeah.
But what's really important is to reach out to vendors that you have a very specific interest in for, any variety of reasons. You either relate to their work or they suit your specific style or budget or your venue needs. So it's good to approach them with a little bit of information about yourself as a couple so they can understand where you're coming from.
Yeah.
Specifically, I like to break my vendors up into like two categories, and some of them cross over. But one is aesthetics and one is logistics.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and tell me if this makes sense to you.
Okay.
But your aesthetic vendors are typically your wedding designers, your floral designers, photographers, drapery, any rentals, anything visual that adds to your wedding.
Okay.
And then your logistics vendors are your planners, a DJ, because they're heavily involved in your timeline and the flow of your wedding.
Yeah.
So for those two separate sets of vendors, I like to think there's different questions you should ask.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. So for
I agree with that.
100%. Cool.
Yeah, you're welcome.
So for your aesthetic vendors, you really want to get a general sense of their style and see if it's in line with your own.
Right.
So for wedding photographers, a good way to do this is to review a full wedding from them.
Yes.
Rather than just their individual favorite frames from favorite weddings.
Yeah. It's really easy to get 5 good pictures.
It is.
From a wedding.
But seeing a full wedding will
Yes.
show you their range of coverage and what they're really getting at, through a full day.
Yeah.
So I definitely recommend seeing a full wedding.
Excellent.
For a floral designer, seeing a vast portfolio, making sure they work within the floral types you like, that if you are more bohemian style, they have loose and flowing arrangements and not that tight traditional, or vice versa. If you're traditional and you want a luxury, tight, round bouquet, make sure they've mastered that style.
Okay.
And for planners, you want to make sure they're actively listening to you and understanding what you're looking for.
I'm sorry, what did you say? I wasn't listening. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah.
So, and then for designers, make sure that their portfolio resonates. Make sure you're seeing pieces that make you really excited and make you think like, oh my gosh, I would love something like that, if not like that, but having that feel. So seek out designers that have portfolios that resonate, with the feel of the wedding you're looking for. Make sure that if you want something fun, they're a fun person.
Right.
A couple of your vendors spend a lot of time with you.
Right.
Your photographer, your planner. Usually those are the two that are most involved on the day of your wedding.
Yeah.
So make sure they're cool.
Make
and
sure
that you like them.
You're going to be okay with them.
Yeah.
Seeing you at your most vulnerable moments.
Feel out their vibe and make sure that it's in line with your own.
Right.
And then, of course, for all of your vendors across the board, you're going to want to ask some questions that help reveal how professional they are, how organized they are. Make sure you understand how quickly they're going to get back to you, what their contract entails, what their payment plans are like.
How quickly can you expect a vendor to get back to you? Because a lot of, especially in this creative industry, a lot of them take a little bit of time to get back to you.
It's very true. It's different for every person. Some people have more patience than others.
Right.
I would recommend when you're interviewing a vendor, asking them, how long do you typically take to return a phone call or an email? Is there a method of communication you prefer over another? That's going to get me a quicker answer. For most people, it would probably be email over a telephone call.
Yeah, I'm fine with text, but I have friends that like do not text me.
Yeah.
They want everything in documented order.
I usually need an email because
Yeah.
I like to go back and look through it and refresh my memory.
Right, exactly.
And if it's in a text, then it's lost among the emojis and who knows where.
GIFs.
Yeah, it's just, and it's also easier if someone texts you at 10 o'clock at night with a question or a request. It's easier to forget.
Right.
Not that I ever forget anything. Ever. But if you have it in an email, it's a little more official. It's easier to make it a task to complete.
And I feel like they'll take you more seriously too if you
It's
email
true.
them.
Yeah,
versus-
it's true.
Yeah.
I do think that if you are going to be working with a vendor intimately, like a planner or a designer, and you'll be working together over the course of 9, 12 months,
Right.
It's good to set that boundary in the beginning and ask them, how do you prefer to be contacted?
Right.
How will I get a quickest response? That way, you're not sitting around waiting on them,
Yeah.
and your expectations are met.
Very smart. Well, you're lovely.
Oh, no, you
Thank you
are.
for spending Thanksgiving week
Thank
with
you
me.
for having me.
This is
I'm
like-
so grateful to be here.
I'm so grateful that you're here.
Yeah, it was the best.
Happy Thanksgiving,
Happy
everybody.
Thanksgiving, everyone.
Always question with the Q. Questions help us learn things new. Question marks are very cool, especially when you're in school. Always question when you try. You'll find who, what, where, when, why. Question marks are very fun. Let's break them down now one by one.